started the process. Okay, so what we did yesterday, we did expanding, right? So we went from what we call the factored form. We haven't even discovered the factored form as of yet, but something that looks like, right? And then we expanded it to get to the standard form, right? Which is something that looks like this, right? We also went from vertex form. We also expanded to get to the factor. Sorry, the set. Okay? So far what we've done is expand. Okay? Going from factor to standard, or going from vertex to standard. Okay? Now, what happens if I want to go from the standard form to the factor form? So if I want to go from standard to factor, I have to, yes, have a good day. From standard to factor, I have to factor. Okay, the process is called factor. Okay, but if I want to go from factor to standard, what is the process called? Expand. Okay, so going from standard to factor, I factor. Going from factored to standard, I expand. Okay, so the opposite of expanding is factor. Now, first thing that we're going to have to learn about is what we call the greatest common factor. So it's a term that I can take out from every single term in my equation or in my polynomial. Okay? So it's called a greatest common factor. So a greatest common factor is an expression that can be divided into each term in a polynomial. Could be a number, could be a letter, or could be a number and a letter together. Okay? So let's look at this example right here. So I have 9x minus 15x squared plus 3x. Do you see a common variable for all three terms? What is it?
X.
X. Right? All three terms have the letter X. Now, that means I can factor out an X. We always look at the lowest exponent, right? So if you look here, the exponent is 3, 2, and the exponent here is 1, right? So the lowest exponent is 1, and I can factor out an X with an exponent 1, so just an X. Now, we also have to look at the numbers, 9, 15, and 3. What can I divide all these three numbers by? 3. So now, I have a 3 as a common factor, and I also have an x a common factor. So that means I can factor out a 3x. Okay? So if I come to factor out a 3x, if I divide every term by 3x, right, I will get my simplified term, or my factored term. So let's look at this example. That's exactly what we have here. So when you're looking at your polynomial, always, no matter what kind of polynomial you have, and when they ask you to factor, you're going to ask yourself, do I have a common factor? That's the first thing you want to do. Okay? So, do I have a common factor? Yes. What is it? 3. Okay? The way that they write greatest common factor is GCF. This is the abbreviation for it, okay? So 3x is my greatest common factor.
Why do we call it greatest? Why not smallest?
Because
we are choosing the smallest one that is dividing the smallest number.
Because you're looking at, so let's say if you have these numbers. Let's say if you had 16x squared plus 4x, right? 2 is divisible by both 16 and 4, but also 4 is divisible by 16 and 4, right? So which one do you pick? You pick the 4, because 4 is the greatest common factor. Okay? Alright. So you're going to take out your greatest common factor, which is 3x, and you're going to divide every single term by it. So you write your greatest common factor, open bracket, and you write your terms, and each term is divided by your GCF. You see that? So take your greatest common factor out, divide every single term by it. Now, let's look at how is that going to simplify. What is 9x cubed divided by 3x? 3x squared. That's right. Let's look at y. So 9x cubed is 9x times x times x, right? That's what x cubed means. X cubed means x multiplied by itself 3 times. And then divided by 3x, right? 9 divided by 3 is 3. So that's the easy part. Now, I can simplify an x, right? So I have left with x times x, which is x squared. So the way we do it is we subtract the exponent. So you have 3 minus 1, that's 2. Okay? What's 15x squared divided by 3x?
5x.
5x. Now I kept the negative, right? It's negative 5x. And then what's 3x divided by 3x?
3? No, nothing.
1.
It's 1.
It's one.
Nothing.
Yeah, it's 1.
It's 1.
It's true.
It's just x, right?
It's 1.
Yeah.
No.
Because the x is going to cancel each other. And 3 divided by 3 is 1. So it's 1. Right? And this is the most common mistake. A lot of students look at 3x over 3x and they think it's nothing, and they put nothing, and then they miss a term. And it's wrong. Okay? So anything that you divide by itself is 1. Right? Think about if you have 5 chocolates, you have 5 people, you divide them, each one will get 1, not nothing. Right? Unless you eat it all and then they get nothing.
That's happened.
Yes, it has happened. So, okay, so what you see here, you see your greatest common factor. Okay, so this is your greatest common factor. And then you have open bracket, and we call this, we don't call it that, but I call it the leftovers. Okay? Because when you factor the 3x out, you have these as leftovers. Right? So you write it like this. When you want to answer your question, so if you factor, then you're gonna write your greatest common factor, and then in brackets you're gonna write your leftovers.
That's where we leave it?
This is how you leave it. At this point right now. We're gonna learn how to do more factoring. Okay? Do not lose your greatest common factor, please. Don't forget about it. It's right here. It has to stay here. Okay? A lot of students also, when they factor it out, they just drop it. They lose it. No. No, because then your whole polynomial is different if you don't have that 3x. Okay? So it has to stay. Are you guys okay with this?
Yes.
Okay. So you always look at every single term. You determine if you have a common variable with the lowest exponent, you take it out. And then you look at every number and see what can you divide, what's the greatest common number that you can take out. Okay? So I'm going to give you a few minutes that you guys can try example 1. Okay? Because I think the more you try, the better you get at it.